What is up, guys? Welcome back to YouTube Burlick, and in today's video, as you saw from the title, this is a big one. If I could only have 10 albums for the rest of my life, these would be those 10. That is correct. We are doing my top 10 favorite albums of all time. This is based off of like a place that they hold in my heart, like just like what they remind me of, reminiscent of, and of course how they flow, and of course obviously which albums have my favorite songs and are by my favorite artists and my favorite genres. And I like almost every single genre of music, maybe behind country, some jazz I'm not crazy about. And that the thumbnail of this video is the 20 albums that I knew I was picking, but then I had to narrow it down to 10. No honorable mentions. This is straight out top 10 favorite albums. Only one band here appears twice, which is Tears for Fears, my favorite band of all time. So yeah, let's get in my top 10 favorite albums of all time after the intro.
Here you go.
Okay, guys, so we're in the list now. So let's go to my 10th favorite album of all time. I just had a stroke. And, like, you might be thinking, oh, it's at number 10. But, like, since I've listened to so many albums, number 10 is still amazing. And I do feel bad putting it this low, but even though it barely made the list, it's still an amazing album. So, number 10. Rage Against the Machine, Evil Empire, their second album recorded. I think it came out in 1996, I believe. The songs are People of the Sun, Bulls on Parade, Viet Now, Revolver, Snake Charmer, Tire Me Down, Rodeo, Without a Face, Wind Below, Roll Right, and Year of the Boomerang. This album is a certified classic. I don't know, some really big fans of Rage Against the Machine will go with their debut, which I understand. But first off, this is the band in their prime. This is before their songs got a bit sound samey, and the groove on this album is insane. The bass, I believe, is at a higher volume than the guitar most of the time. The vocals and especially the songwriting is insane. The drums are really just chuggy, and I absolutely love how stiff and like metronome they are. Everything about this album is perfect. I wouldn't remove a single second or add a single second of music to this album. And it's my 10th favorite album of all time. People of the Sun, Bulls on Parade, Viet Now. You might think that might be a bit front-loaded because those are the three iconic songs off this album. And they all are insanely good, especially Bulls on Parade. Which, that guitar riff, oh my gosh, it's so good. Revolver, again, as I said, the guitar, though it is lower in the mix than the bass, it's insane. Tom Morello, their guitarist, he plays the guitar like this, yet it sounds better than almost anybody playing it regularly. It's insane. Revolver is a great song, same with Snake Charmer, but really, Tire Me and Down Rodeo, these two back-to-back songs is what brings this album into the top 10. Rest of the album's elite too. This is my 10th favorite album of all time, but Tire Me and Down Rodeo, come on, that is what really brings this up.
The boys that insist to wait, very near to all of the twist of fate.
So my 9th favorite, this is the band that appears twice, Tears for Fears. My 9th favorite album of all time, Seeds of Love by Tears for Fears. The songs are Woman in Chains, Bad Man Song, The Seeds of Love, Advice for the Young at Heart. I don't know why Standing on the Corner of the Third Wheel. I don't know why the songs are titled so long. Swords and Knives, Year of the Knife, and Famous Last Words. There are some bonus tracks too. I just love to smell the booklets. And this album has one of the richest sounds ever. You can just tell by the album cover. This is them also with Oleta Adams. And the band had changed from a synth pop group. This is honestly progressive. This is art rock. This is art pop. It's avant-garde in some spots. Woman in Chains, an elite hit. Bad Man Song, one of my favorite songs by the band. It's such a pretty album, and their singer, Kurt Smith, one of the singers, kind of has a diminished role in the band, but he's still a great bassist. And Roland Orzabal and Oleta Adams sing their hearts away on this album. That's really the reason why it makes the top 10, because it sounds amazing. And Goosebumps pretty much stay on me from Advice for the Young at Heart all the way to Year of the Knife. That like track run is an insane track run. There's so many great songs on here. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love Tears for Fears, my favorite band of all time. And yeah, give this album a listen. It's beautiful. So my 8th favorite album of all time. This might be a surprise. but I told you I have lots of variety in my music. A Charlie Brown Christmas by the Vince Guaraldi Trio. I don't know why I'm laughing, because I absolutely love this album. And I was thinking, it might be weird to put a seasonal album on here. Christmas is over. No one has their decorations out anymore. But it's really, really good. This one does have some extra tracks from the Halloween and Thanksgiving themes, which does make it even better. But, geez, the songs on this album are O Tannenbaum, What Child Is This, My Little Drum, Linus and Lucy, Christmas Time Is Here, instrumental. Then the Christmas Time Is Here vocal, Skating, Hark, the Herald Angels Sing, Christmas Is Coming, Fiora Elise, and the Christmas Song. Now, some of the songs on here, though they all now are associated with Christmas, because, come on, Vince Guaraldi, the drumming and basses on here is amazing, but the jazz influence in Vince Guaraldi, great singer, great songwriter, great piano player. Like, the piano in Linus and Lucy gives me goosebumps every time. I don't care how overplayed that song it is and how it might be actually one of the lesser songs on the album. And that album cover's adorable. Top 10 album cover of all time. Snoopy, We All Love You. Yeah. O Tannenbaum, absolutely love that song. And Linus and Lucy, as I said, goosebumps with the piano, even though it might be a bit overplayed. But Fiora Elise, which is already an amazing song, it's even better on here. And Christmas Time Is Here, the vocal, is the best song on the album. And that song is unbeatable. That's the best Christmas song of all time. I don't care what you say. It's my opinion. We all have them. Write down in your comments what your top 10 favorite albums of all time are. But this is my 8th favorite, and yeah. It's an amazing album. I absolutely love it. So, speaking of, my number 7, speaking of Vince Guaraldi Trio and jazz, you have Metallica, Master of Puppets. I know, they're very similar albums, except they're not at all, and I think the only thing that they have similar is that they both have drums, because that's literally the only similarity. I don't think there's a single synth on this album. Of course, this is the massive thing with all the things, like the box set, whatever, the deluxe version. Metallica Master of Puppets, my favorite thrash metal and pure metal album of all time. Sorry, I just spit. This album is really just amazing. It got me into metal, like in 2019, 2018, whenever I listened to it, it got me into metal. The songs are Battery, Master of Puppets, The Thing That Should Not Be, Welcome Home Sanitarium, Disposable Heroes, Leper Messiah, Orion, and Damage Inc. Mr. Stereo Girl. Anyway, Battery, Master of Puppets, The Thing That Should Not Be, all insane songs, all 10 out of 10s. But then Welcome Home Sanitarium, that's probably in my top 20 favorite songs of all time, and it's my favorite Metallica song. Disposable Heroes, I absolutely love the guitar riff, and as usual, it shows the musicianship and talent of Metallica, but it's never been my favorite song. It's my least favorite on the album. Leper Messiah, pretty darn good song. Absolutely love the guitar riff. Da-na-na-na. Rest in peace, Cliff Burton, too, because he carries on Orion, and that song is amazing. And then Damage Inc., really cool way to end off the album. This album's insane. It's a complete 180 from my number 8, but I'm glad it's able to make it on here. Metallica changed my life. This album changed my life. This made my band, Bulls Cream of Wheat, go from pop rock to prog metal. This album has it all. And I know in my video when I said every song I ever made for a band called Pop Together, that was my old band, and it was pretty much just me and one friend, and it's not official. It's not on streaming services. Go check out Bulls Cream of Wheat on streaming services. Do it now. New album dropping in about 2 months, or first since August 2022. Coming in at my 6th spot. I had to check there, obviously. My number 6 spot, this has been dropping, and it might fall off the list in a year or two, because it used to be my number 2, I think, when I first did this, but the video's not up anymore. System of a Down, steal this album. And I know it sounded like I was talking crap because I said it's dropping, but number 6, still, out of like the 2,000 albums I've listened to. Obviously, there's no booklet. People say this is their worst album, and every single System of a Down album is insane. So if you put this at number 5 in their ranking, I totally understand you. But here are the songs. Chicken Stew, Inner Vision, Bubbles, Boom, New Guns, ADD, Mr. Jack, AIO, 36, Pictures, Highway Song, F the System, Ego Brain, Theta Waves, Roulette, and Streamline. Yes, it's a mouthful. There's 16 songs. But let me just read some of the songs. Chicken Stew, Inner Vision, amazing songs. New Guns, Highway Song, Ego Brain. So those are all the songs that I absolutely love on this album. But when I said Ego Brain, I stopped because the last 4 songs kind of all lead into each other, and they're probably all in the top 10 best System of a Down songs. The songs that I mentioned are all really amazing tracks, like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. But the last 4 songs, Ego Brain, Theta Waves, Roulette, and Streamline, are some of the best songs System ever made. Some of the songs on this album are a bit out there, like F the System, 36, and Pictures, but the rest of the songs are really, really good. And this album is one of my most nostalgic albums. It reminds me of like the 2019-2020 era, when I was just getting into metal, and it has a special place in my heart for that. Yeah, this is my 6th favorite album of all time. So my 5th favorite album of all time, this is a bit of an obscure album that I discovered a bit more recently. But I discovered like a year ago, but a bit more recently. It's Filter, Title of a Record, my 5th favorite album of all time. Yeah, this album's really good. The songs are on the front here, as you can see. And the songs are Sand, Welcome to the Fold, Captain Bligh, It's Gonna Kill Me, The Best Things, Take a Picture, Skinny, I Will Lead You Cancer, I'm Not the Only One, and Miss Blue. Every single song on here this might be like my favorite sounding album ever. Either this or like Yes, Close to the Edge. I don't know if it's the production on here or just how amazing Richard Patrick's voice is. Yes, Richard Patrick, who was on 9 Inch Nails during the Pretty Hate Machine era, he leads this band, and this is their 2nd album that they ever did. Sand, it's just like a little bit of a cello that goes like, just like intertwining with 2 different notes, and like I think it goes like just C to like I don't know what it is, C to E sharp, but it's really, really cool sounding, and it leads perfectly into Welcome to the Fold, which is one of my favorite songs of all time, my favorite Filter song. And then Captain Bligh and It's Gonna Kill Me are my favorite of songs. But again, this album sounds so good. It sounds so summery and so rich. And it's industrial rock, but it also just goes to metal, to pop rock, to prog. It's insane. The Best Things and Take a Picture are the hits on here. Welcome to the Fold's a minor hit, but the Best Things and Take a Picture are the songs that you're going to recognize. And they are really good too. Take a Picture kind of shows the lighter side. Skinny, I Will Lead You Cancer, I'm Not the Only One, and Miss Blue are the 5 songs that close out the album, and they are all really good too. And they all sound great, and that's a theme that I keep saying here. But all the songs are great on this album. It's just that the last 5 songs are the best songs, and Welcome to the Fold. This is my 5th favorite album of all time, and I kind of like having a more obscure album on this list. Yes, there are hits on here, but they only have like 15 million views on YouTube at the most, which compared to these other albums is not a lot. This album is insane. Just like all these albums. I feel like I'm just saying that after every single one. So I'm going to get copyrighted by even talking about this probably, but my 4th favorite album of all time.
I'll get copyrighted.
Is by the Beatles. See, that's why I'm going to get copyrighted. The White Album. And I don't know if you can see it, but it says the Beatles right there. That's what that little bump is with the infinite zoom, as I always bring up. There's 30 songs on this album, and this video's already getting long. Look how many songs. That's all the songs. So I'm not going to say them all, but I'm going to skim through the songs that I absolutely love that are like 9 to 10 out of 10s. Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Obla-Di Obla-Da, Continuing Story, Bungalow Bill, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Happiness is a Warm Gun, Blackbird, Rocky Raccoon, Birthday, Mother Nature's Son, Sexy Sadie, Helter Skelter, Revolution 1. Yeah, those are the songs that I absolutely love. And there are some throwaway songs on here, like Wild Honey Pie. It's fun, but it doesn't need to be there. And Why Don't We Do It in the Road is just not a good song. And Revolution 9, I admit, is interesting. You should listen to that song once or twice, but it doesn't need to be there, Revolution 9. Revolution 1's a different one. But yeah, they are brilliant. The Beatles are one of my favorite bands of all time, and they are the best band of all time. You can say they're overrated, because they are. Because when a band is literally the best band of all time, of course they're going to be overrated. This album is like, mwah. It's so darn good. You could put any Beatles album as my 4th favorite album of all time. I think just because this one has the most variety, it comes in as my 4th favorite. The growth between them from their debut to this album is crazy. If you haven't heard the White Album, you don't exist. Don't want to be rude here, but let's be honest. If you haven't heard the White Album, you don't exist. Because I think everyone has, or everyone should, after they pass the age of, like, 12 or whatever. I don't know, once you are able to choose things that you listen to. So my third favorite album of all time lacks tracks, but what it doesn't lack is consistency, as it's maybe the most consistent album of all time. And I'm going to say right now, the most perfect album of all time. My third favorite album of all time is Yes, Close to the Edge. You trim 1 second off this album, like say off Close to the Edge, you trim the first 1 second that you don't even hear anything, I'm going to be mad at you. I don't care if all 3 songs are insanely long, because they're all epic, and they all are amazing. Yes was crafting something insane here, and I think it's the best prog album of all time. The songs are Close to the Edge, which has a bunch of separate parts, You and I, which has a bunch of separate parts, and Siberian Khatru, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, I love them. And Bill Bruford kills it on the drums here, but he's just so funny there. Close to the Edge, the title track. The album is my third favorite album of all time, but my favorite song ever is Close to the Edge, the title track. Because I Get Up, I Get Down probably was the first song that gave me true goosebumps. Like, I'm like, oh, my small child arm hairs are standing up. And every single part of that song's amazing. You and I kind of shows off Steve Howe more than any other guy, but who cares? Because he's insanely talented. And Siberian Khatru, just a banger overall. Gotta love that song. Every single song on here is perfect. The whole album is perfect. Even the album cover is perfect, which mostly all these prog bands have insane, like, album designs, and though this one doesn't, it's still a classic album design, and that makes it even better. And it's so nice looking. Like, I love that gradient. So my second favorite album of all time is Tool's 10,000 Days, which I know, like, is one of their less respected albums, but you have to admit, it's still an amazing album. So, here are the songs. You have to turn to a certain page, and the artwork, as usual on Tool albums, is amazing, but this one, they really stepped up on it compared to how amazing it already is. You look through these glasses, and it's 3D. I think I might have already brought that up in my Tool ranking from a few years ago. But the songs are Vicarious, John B. Wings for Marie Part 1, 10,000 Days, also titled Wings for Marie Part 2, The Pot, Lip on Conjuring, Lost Keys, Rosetta Stone, Intention, Right Into, and Virginity Tress. I used to call it virginity trees for some reason. I don't know how you... So apparently if you go to a tree, a virginity tree, you'll lose your virginity? Or do you gain it? Think about that before I get not copyright claimed, but taken down. Vicarious is a really great track. And John B. used to be just an okay song, but it's insanely grown on me. And the album of this, Maynard James Keenan does sound a bit different on here, but the drums, Danny Carey, so underrated. I think he's the second best drummer of all time. Behind Neil Peart, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Rush's drummer. Danny Carey is so good. And the album artwork is amazing too. And The Pot, 10,000 Days, and Rosetta Stone are some of my favorite Tool songs ever and some of my favorite songs of all time. So this is coming in at my number 2. And if you guys watched most of my videos, you probably know what number 1 is. And my favorite album of all time is by Tears for Fears. Songs from the Big Chair. This album is insanely nostalgic to me. It's insanely everything to me. It's just insanely good. The songs are Shout, The Working Area, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Mother's Talk, I Believe, Broken, Head Over Heels, and Listen. Really simplistic album, but it's my favorite album ever. And Shout, The Working, like every single song on here I absolutely love. Every single song on here is a 10 out of 10. And though I'll say I Believe and Broken aren't as elite as the other 6 tracks, this is before Tears for Fears. Like, they were still pretty much a synth pop band. They did experiment a bit. And the production on here is probably a top 50 best produced album ever. Not just in my opinion, but it pretty much is. Like, if you think about it and listen to it with headphones on and stuff. And the hits on here are great, but the deep cuts, like The Working Hour and Listen, oh my gosh. Head Over Heels used to be my favorite song ever. But it's my favorite Tears for Fears song. I think it might be my third or second favorite song of all time. But it's my favorite hit ever. this album is a masterwork. And I'm sorry that this video is longer, but I just cannot stop talking about my top 10 favorite albums. And this one lands at number 1. So, Songs from the Big Chair by Tears for Fears. My favorite album ever. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. Now look at this person. And again, thank you for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe, even though Burlick is bad. Anyways, bye.